It takes a long time for it to start. Look, man, you know what? I'm fed up with you. I'm tired. I've had it. I'm not going to do this no more. I am done. You ever feel like that? I hope I didn't surprise you. You ever felt like that? God does. And he's done that a number of times in history. If you study biblical history, he did it with Noah before the flood. He had it with all the people. He said, hey, man, I regret making all these people. I'm just going to wipe them all out. He did it with Sodom and Gomorrah. He did. He rained down, fire and sulfur. He killed all those people and turned Lot's wife into a pillar of salt. He did it with Job's children. Job's over there praying and trying to please God as a good father. His kids are out partying, getting drunk, being very disrespectful. He did it with Israel repeatedly. That's why he kept sending them into captivity. He just had it with them. He got tired of dealing with them. He got tired, as we're going to see here, and he tells Moses with these Hebrews that he led out of Egypt. And then he's telling Moses, hey, I'm going to kill all of them. I'm just going to wipe them off the face of the earth. He's going to do it yet in the future with the apostasy, when the apostasy sets in. Okay, he did it with Ananias and Sapphira, Remember what they did? And he killed both of them. He's going to do it in the tribulation. See, here's the thing a lot of people don't understand. God has two things working. Justice, as you can see here on my board behind my head, and mercy and grace. Which one does he do? There's a tension that he has that helps him to decide which way he goes. And either way that he goes is justifiable because God is a holy and just God. You don't question God. Okay, you simply bow down and say, yes, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. You know the story. God led the Hebrews out of Egypt who had been there for a long time as slaves. Pharaoh chased them all the way to the edge of the Red Sea. God parted the sea for them. And God promised them, I'm going to bring you into a land, a beautiful land of milk and honey. But before then, God takes Moses up in the mountain to give him instruction. The people are left behind, Joshua at the foot of the mountain. Moses goes up to the mountain and he gets instruction, but he's gone 40 days and 40 nights. The people, the Hebrews, became impatient. Hey, what happened to Moses? He ain't never coming back. He died up there. Some animal ate him. But hey, we need a God. We need a real God that will lead us. What do? They convince Moses' brother Aaron to make them a god, an idol out of gold, which they all contributed to resemble, of all things, a cow. And God's listening to all this, and he's seeing all this, and he says to Moses, what is that sound I hear down in the camp? He says, that's not the sound of victory. That's the sound of defeat. So we come up now to Exodus chapter 33. And the Lord said to Moses, leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of Egypt. Notice he said, you and the people you brought up, not I brought up. Leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of Egypt, and go up to the land I promised an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I will send an angel before you and drive out all these people that are there currently. Go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go with you. I'm not going to go with you. Because you are a stiff-necked people. And if I go with you, I might destroy you on the way. God is in that tension. I'm not going to fellowship with you. For if I fellowship with you and hang with you, I'm liable to kill you. You ever felt that way? You ever trying to help somebody really earnestly hard and they're just resistant to the point of where you just finally say, enough's enough. You go ahead and go your way. I'm going to go my way. When you're ready, you return. But you better return with a right spirit and a right heart and be willing to do the right thing no matter what the cost. Because I'm afraid if you hang with me, I'm liable to kill you. That was God's tension. He's done it many times in the past. But God also offers grace. There's only one reason why God didn't destroy those people right then and there. In Exodus 33, verses 12 and following, Moses intercedes for the people. If it wasn't for him, they'd all be dead. He says to the Lord, you have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. And so Moses passes this challenge to God. If I have found favor in your eyes, teach me your ways so that I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Man, that's a pretty, can you say that? God, teach me your ways. I want to be pleasing to you. I know you're angry with these people, but I want you to be happy with me. And he says, teach me your ways that I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people. This is your people. Even though earlier you said it was my people that I led out of Egypt, now I'm reminding you, these are your people. The Lord replied to Moses, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then Moses said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from the other people on the face of the earth? That's pretty smart. Intercession prayer of Moses. These are your people. I want to continue to find favor with you. How else will other people know that you're the one that sent us? But don't go away from us. He's interceding on behalf of the people. And at the same time, this is what's so ironic, that he's interceding and God is watching all these obstinate people being rebellious and doing the things that he does not want them to do, especially getting deep into idolatry. Satan is up there saying, God, look at your people. Aren't these the people that you said was going to represent you and be a testimony to all the world and all the nations, so that Buddhism and Islam and all these other religions won't come about to be? Look at them. They built an idol of gold. And at the same time he says that, you see Manny, you see Ellen, you see Joseph, you see Bethany, you see Ananias, you see Sapphira. Look at what they're doing. And he stands there accusing all of us before God. Hey, thank goodness we got a mediator, huh? Moses is a mediator to the Hebrews. And Jesus Christ is our mediator. In 1 Timothy, it reads that there's one mediator between man and God, and that's the person Jesus Christ. And he's up there telling the Lord, yes, we recognize what they did and what they continue to do. And Jesus is saying, but I shed my blood to satisfy your justice so that you won't administer justice to them. I satisfied that. And he gives us an example for us to do the same thing in 1 Timothy 2, chapter 1. It says, with all prayer and petition, intercede on behalf of all people. It's the interceder that keeps God from leaning towards his arm of justice and going over into mercy and grace. Huh? Grace has given us what we don't deserve, and mercy is withholding from us what we do deserve. What happened in the grace thing? God eventually saved a few people through Noah from the flood. He saved Lot out of Sodom and Gomorrah. He gave new kids to Job. He allowed Israel to come and be restored and rebuild Jerusalem. He saved the remnant out of all of Israel. Eventually, he's going to bring the rapture to save this sick and apostatized church out of this world that so loves the world that God is finally saying, you know what, I'm sick of these people. And Jesus says, they're like lukewarm water and I spit them out of my mouth. And Stephen in Acts said, you people, you prophets, you religious leader, you're stiff-necked as well, always resisting the will of God and persecuting the prophets and the teachers and the preachers. And eventually Jesus comes to rule in the millennial until Satan is released after 1,000 years, and many more are then going to be permanently separated at the white throne judgment. And then they will spend eternity in hell. And God will say to them, depart from me, you work of iniquity. I never knew you. You never sought to honor me like my servant Moses did. You never sought to please me in the way that my servant Stephen did. But for the rest of you that did recognize me as Lord and have put your trust in me, you get to spend eternity with me because I long to fellowship with you. And I want to hang with you because you're pleasing to me. There's an interesting verse in Philippians 2:12. Look it up. It says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Now, some people want to use that verse as a means that you can lose your salvation. It doesn't say work in, it says work out. You can't work out what hasn't been worked in. So you got saved. That's fantastic. But now you got to live your life dedicated to the one who shed his precious blood for you and for me. So you work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Listen, there is a sin unto death. Which way is God going to administer in your life? He said, you can administer justice. He can do that in a number of ways, by disciplining you or by taking you home. A lot of people don't live out their full lives. Okay? They make foolish choices and decisions. And the consequences of those choices, because they were not pleasing to God, they usher in. Or you want to leave your life filled with the Holy Spirit, pleasing to God, doing the things that are, and here's the thing. Here's the wonderful thing. It's grace. It's easy. It's so easy. If you sin, what do? You confess your sin. All that is agreeing with God what he already knows. Yeah, God, I did that. I'm sorry. It's called sorrowful. Sorrowless. Lord, I'm sorry. I did the wrong thing. Please forgive me. And then accepting his total forgiveness. Then you can have joy. Joy and restored fellowship with God the Father so he doesn't usher in his arm of justice or discipline to the point of death. What are you doing right now in your life? Are you sick of it all? Are you tired of it? You want to come back to God? Well, you got to get down to business. You got to want it. And once let me tell you, once you've been in the fold of God and you come to experience his fullness and you walked in his tent for many years, there isn't any other place you want to be. Your cup's going to run over. And you're going to see God in a whole different light. And his purpose is going to be fulfilled, as he says in Romans 12, 1 and 2. When you present yourself as a living sacrifice, his purposes will be fulfilled in your life. In fact, you're going to prove it. God bless you all.